Is this $100 manual grinder the best all-around budget alternative for home baristas? Enjoying good coffee at home should not be a luxury, which is why today we're looking at the Blade R3 manual grinder from MHW-3BOMBER. And stay until the end because I'll give you my happy bean rating so you can decide if you're getting enough bang for your buck. Let's go! MHW-3BOMBER is continuously releasing affordable alternatives to tackle all of the needs of coffee enthusiasts, and this grinder is a great example of the market they're trying to cater to. The Blade R3 is not just a budget grinder, it is packed with a ton of features that emulate what you can find on other more expensive options. But how do they manage to keep the price so low? And what are you giving up in order to get this grinder's benefits for just $100? Let's find out, starting with the build quality. Right out of the box, you can appreciate the nicer details, like the wooden knob on the handle and the matte black finish. The weight of the grinder and the ergonomics make it feel sturdy, but easy to hold and operate thanks to these ridges here. And the grind size adjustment is pretty clear with bright numbers and this red marking, which is also a nice flash of color that makes the grinder look better. However, the adjustment dial won't show you exactly how many clicks you're set, so I'll show you how it works later on. I really like the magnetic container, which also comes with a magnetic cap, adding to the convenience and ease of use. It's very solid, although I've found that even with all of these magnets, if I grind too fast or don't hold it correctly, it's still possible to accidentally pull it off. Now, here's the feature that sets the Blade R3 apart from other grinders at this price point. It includes 5 different sieve screens to separate fines when you're grinding for pour-over or anything above espresso fine. The sieves come in 300, 400, 500, 600 and 850 microns, which gives you way more control over your grinding and promises a clear profile in your cup. With that said, I've never used a grinder with a sifter included, but I can imagine this can be quite the game changer for anyone who likes no paper filtration methods to brew their coffee. So if you use metal filters for your AeroPress, or if you prefer other innovations like the Espresso Bloom, the Pure Over or Serapota, you can still have a clean cup with little sediment due to the sifting step with this grinder. Does it make a true difference though? Stay tuned because I'll be testing it out in just a minute. Meanwhile, let's take a look inside. The core element is a conical 48mm burr that they call Rapidity 3, hence the R3 in the name. It promises to grind faster and more efficiently by going through these longer 45-degree blades, then passing through the 70-degree blades. This is pretty standard, and for the price, I think it's good to get a bigger and more efficient burr than other grinders. But the true way of determining its performance is by seeing it in action and tasting the results. Watch closely because here's where we'll see the true pros and cons of the Blade R3. And before we get into it, please drop a like if you're getting value from this video and subscribe because I'll be making more coffee gear reviews and providing coffee making tips to help you elevate your coffee experience at home. Alright, now let's go through the following tests. First, I'll grind for espresso to see if it's up to the challenge. Then I'll do a pour-over grinding comparison using one of the sieves versus a cup without it, and confirm if it actually makes a difference in clarity. For the espresso shot, I'll weigh 18 grams. But before adding the beans, let's set our grinding size. And this is how it works on the Blade R3. Each full turn of the adjustment dial represents 60 clicks, and each individual click adjusts in the burr vertical movement by 16 microns. There's a maximum of 180 clicks or 3 full revolutions. If you think about it, this is similar to a clock, as it has 12 steps with 5 clicks each, meaning that for 90 clicks, think 90 minutes and do 1.5 revolutions. To return it back to 0, just turn backwards all the way until you feel resistance. For espresso, I'll do 30 clicks first and go from there. I'm using a fresh medium dark roast for this one, and grinding these beans at this fine setting took about a minute. And here's one of the first drawbacks I've experienced with the grinder. There's a lot of internal static. Grinders are expected to have static, and you can always do RDT to minimize it, but this is too much in my opinion. It's retaining around half a gram of coffee due to it. Not sure if it's the materials or the magnetic elements, but it can be a bit annoying. To reduce the mess, I'd make sure to tap it a few times before removing the container so it doesn't spill all over. So let's keep going with the prep. I'll try to keep my puck prep as consistent as possible. So I'll be using the Cyclone WDT tool and the Force Impact Tamper, also from MHW-3BOMBER, which I reviewed recently. You can watch this review later if you want. I'll leave you a link in the description. Time to pull the shot. And we can see it was way too slow, possibly due to the freshness of the beans as well. So I'll go up 15 clicks and try again. Let's see the results. Okay, I overdid it. It's now way too fast. It tastes sour and has an excessive amount of crema. So I'll go from 45 to 38 and see if that helps. And it's looking pretty decent now. We're close to the final shot. I know this can be better. And there we go. 35 is the lucky number for this coffee today. The taste is well balanced, almost sweet. There's no overwhelming acidity and the coffee is not bitter either. It does look pretty light-bodied though. Although it worked for espresso, I have to admit, this grinder seems to be mostly optimized for pour-over, and that's where I expect it to shine, especially because they made the effort to include this sifting feature to enhance the flavor. So let's test it out and see how it holds up. I'll use the Brand's pour-over set to brew this washed light roast from Kenya, which tends to be acidic and complex in flavor, with some fruity notes like pear and plum. I'll go to 100 clicks, which has given me the best results with this. For the first cup, I'm not using the sieve so I can try the true flavors I get from the burst. Grinding was way quicker now, just below 30 seconds, and the grounds look great. So let's brew and try it out. I've been drinking this specific coffee for a while, using different grinders and machines. What I'm getting here is lacking a bit of the notes I'm used to. It's a bit muddy, and the flavors are blended, I might say. Feels balanced though. It's a safe taste, but it lacks a lot of clarity and separation of flavors, which you can't expect to get from a grinder at this price point. However, here's where the sifting feature comes in. I'll add the 500 micron sieve on the bottom of the container for my next brew, so it can filter a decent amount of fines. Now let's start grinding. After the grinding is done, just put the cap on the container and shake it thoroughly for 20 to 30 seconds. When you're done, make sure to empty the grounds before opening the sieve lid so you don't spill it all over. Here you can see how many fines it filtered. I'll eyeball it and say there's close to 0.3 grams of fines here. But is this enough to make a difference? Let's brew it and find out. Nothing else changes from the previous brew, so I'll keep using the same dripper and the same recipe. The first difference I noticed is that it drained way faster on this sifted pour. So let's taste. I'm fairly impressed. The sifting made a great difference in taste. I can appreciate more of the flavor notes, definitely can sense the pear. There's a lot more clarity, especially compared to the first cup, and it's a bit more complex. What I like the most is that the acidity is not overwhelming as it happened compared with other grinders. With this set, I can confidently give the Blade R3 grinder a happy bean rating of 3.5. MHW-3BOMBER is aiming very high with this one and trying to replicate and improve the experience you get with grinders that are twice or triple the price. And although it has some flaws, I feel that the price point and performance is well balanced. For someone who's on a budget, this is surely worth considering as an all-around alternative that will help you enjoy better coffee at home. But can this grinder be a long-term solution? It's fairly new in the market right now, so only time will tell. I for sure am rooting for it. Please tell me in the comments, which other grinders are you considering besides the Blade R3? I'd like to get my hands on all of them and compare to help you make a better decision. Thank you for watching.